Hey there, Imaginext fans, this is Wesatron. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mattel's Fisher-Price Imaginext Ion Orbiter playset. This figure was released, I think last year, 2013, and the reason I'm showing off the box is because there's a couple things that we need to talk about on the box. One being that in the back here, you'll see there is a perforated edge here. Now the reason that Mattel includes these is because there's a tab here you can push in. You can see all their cross cells and everything, but the important thing is that there's a tab. You can get your finger under there, and you should be able to pop the back of the box open, which is nigh impossible, but that's the idea. The other interesting thing is, on the front here, we see there's a lot of zip ties and things of that nature. There's zip ties up here. And the reason I bring that up is because Imaginext used to be really good about letting you try play features out in the box, and now they're not doing it quite as much. One of the reasons for this one is because of this orbiting piece here. It could easily, move too easily around the box. You would need a bigger footprint for the box. So they have kind of scaled back what they can do with that, but you can still try the electronics inside the box, which is this button right here. Which is pretty fun. So, like I said, you can't try this play feature, and the missiles are not included at this point. They're in the box back here. So let's get him out of the package and see what he's like. And here we have the Ion Orbiter out of packaging. And one thing that I really liked that they did is that they made the base a flat piece, so you can set this upright for launch, which I think is really, really cool. It's got a lot of cool play action to it. The biggest one, of course, I just hit that button by mistake, which you can hear all the sound effects. So I guess that's all. You get the one of it like powering up and then another just of it making cool sci-fi sounds. Now after a couple minutes this light will go off and then they'll like say depowering or something like that, so that'll probably interrupt the review, but sorry about that. But this is the main action feature right here, is this button. You press that and this is really cool. The cockpit up here is where we can see our little pilot is sitting. See him inside there? Now when you press this button, these parts will actually orbit around the cockpit without rotating the cockpit itself. You see he stays stationary, which I think is very fun. It's, very cool, neat idea for kind of like a B-wing style pilot there, or cockpit rather. So very cool there, I like that. Now the issue I have with that is just that this is a little bit heavier, so for a small child, because these are supposed to be ages 3 to 8, if you're holding it up here, it might be hard to kind of balance it while getting your thumb on the button here. I think it might have worked a little better with like a handle and trigger, but then... And that's what it does. So I think a trigger might have worked better to actually pull the, to activate this piece right here, but I can see that there's a battery compartment here on the bottom for the electronics, so that may not have been possible. But still, pretty cool, I dig it. You can see I fired off one of the missiles just now, so sorry about that. But this other missile is still here, and I'll show you that that actually fires very hard. I'm going to pull this all the way behind the camera and fire. You hear how hard that shoots. I mean, it's plenty hard. If we get Luke Skywalker over here, it's easily going to do what every kid wants to do, which is knock over your action figures. Which is cool. I dig that. I always like the play features of the Imaginext toys, and I think this one's really got it in spades. And like I said, the cockpit does open, and there is a little spot for his hands to go on and stuff, but otherwise it's just a clear piece of plastic that goes all the way through. And our little spaceman here comes out, and we will go ahead and zoom in a little bit to look at him. So here's a close-up of our little pilot, who doesn't actually have a name as far as the packaging goes. The whole thing is just listed as Ion Orbiter. But you can see he's not just the standard muscly sculpt that they usually do with the Imaginext toys. He's actually got some really cool little sci-fi bits, like some tubing and stuff. Little panel lines down here. The Imaginext symbol is really small on his foot. A nice mixture of kind of a lime green, darker green, and some bright blue. Not to mention the red and stuff on his head. He does have pegs and the Imaginext symbol on the bottom of his feet, and little ridges that go down his back. Now this is a clear piece that is rubberized and can easily remove off of his head. You can see he's got a single eye, and the ridges that go on his back actually go all the way up to his head, which I think is very cool. Now, there's not really a whole lot of head articulation because of the shape of this. You can turn it very slightly, but I'm not even sure if it's meant to be turned or not. So it may just be wiggling on its socket piece there. But yeah, very cool little action figure. I like this guy a lot. I like the single eye, and I like that they still gave him a helmet that kind of fits with the whole aesthetic of the toy, because you can see it matches this purple very clearly. So very cool. And as far as articulation, like I said, it doesn't have much in the head, but it does have swivel hinges in the shoulders, so they do go all the way around. They go in and out, swivel at the wrist, and then his both legs go forward as one piece. So very cool, you know, enough to sit sit in the cockpit or just stand next to it, which is pretty much all it does anyway. Now the actual ship has a ton of little cool details. You can see all these little kind of pod type things. Very, very neat. I like the look of them a lot. And then there's maybe some writing over here. It doesn't seem to make any kind of like sense. Like this kind of looks like a 25 right here, but none of this looks like, I mean, this looks like gibberish. So still very cool. The pod, the cockpit's got this nice honeycomb kind of design on it, and then there's lines on the orbiting parts, which is very neat. And on the bottom, we've got the speaker for the electronics. We do have what looks like an infrared sensor to me, which makes me wonder if this can interact with other vehicles. But I was playing with them in the store and it didn't do anything, so I don't know if that's something else or not, because when you press the button, I don't think it actually lights up. Yeah,
Imaginext space up and running.
So this doesn't light up or anything, so I imagine it's got to have to do with something else, but you can see the vehicle is very well detailed. They did a very, very cool job with that, and I think your kids will really enjoy it. Or if you don't have kids, you know, collectors could always paint it up and make it look like a really fun little sci-fi thing. So, yeah, this is a pretty cool little vehicle. One thing to note, though, is that on the bottom, there is no switch for the electronics. You cannot turn the electronics off. So if it's on, it's on. You'll have to take the batteries out if you want to turn that off, which is unfortunate. I like the ability to turn them off when they're not in use, just so that, you know, any small bump doesn't set it off, as I've been doing this whole review. Now, in terms of price, I actually got lucky. There was a buy one, get one 50% off, and this was my 50% off item. Normally, this will cost you about $13 to $15, depending on where you buy it. I was able to get this for about $7.50, and that was at Target. So, not a bad price at all for something this big. As you can see, this is a 6-inch scale figure, which makes these figures about 3 inches tall, and this is probably about 10 inches tall or so, maybe 9 inches. But it's a very large-sized item. $15 is a pretty solid deal considering all the play features. You get the cool electronics, you get the orbiting cockpit, you get the missile launchers that fire very hard, very far. It's a solid buy. I think it's really cool. The only thing that's a little odd is just the aesthetics of it. It's a little strange shape, and it's, you know, big and fat and stuff. You know, it's a big thing. But I mean, that's also giving you more plastic for your money, so that's pretty cool in itself. So, very solid buy. I think it's very cool. It fits in with the space line that they're doing with Imaginext right now, and works very well as just kind of a weird, spacey type thing. You know, very alien to the little soldier pilots that they have coming out on the good guy side, I guess. So that's pretty much it for this review. If you guys have any questions or comments about this, please throw them in the box below. I'll be glad to answer them for you. Anything I might have skipped over, or just anything in general. This was not a Target exclusive. You should be able to get this just about anywhere. Meijer, Walmart, things like that. So, yeah, if you have any questions, throw them in the box below and I'll answer them for you. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching.